afternoon, morning. How's everybody? Hope everybody had a good week. This year is over. The year is over. We are in 2024. Hopefully, we all make it to 2024 as well too. Hope you enjoyed last week's stream. I looked at the the viewership on that. That seemed to be pretty good. Seemed like you all like that a little better. I don't know. Should we cut the shows to one? Should we do two shows? I don't know. I'm open. I don't know. D, what are your thoughts? Should we do one show, two shows? Mm-hmm. Should we do no shows and just do training? What do you think? No shows and just do training. Mm-hmm. We can always do just training. Should we go back just to podcasting only? Mm, could be. Maybe. Supposedly. Possibly. Have more guests to come on. Even though I have a lot of guests that I need to follow up with. It's probably like 20 of them, to be honest. Those that got your free training, I hope you are all ready to go for Monday. I still need to do two more people. It's still time. We don't start till 12 o'clock on Monday, so I need to do that today. Get you all squared away. Um, and then we got see the end of the year training. I don't think I'm sure there's more conferences, but I haven't checked out what was left for the conferences and so forth. I'll probably do that. Bring all of that stuff up on the next show, and go from there. Let me pull up all my notes as well too. Do I have them up? I do have them up. I do have them up. We actually got notes. We got stuff that we didn't cover from last week and the week before last. So I'm gonna pull those up too, and I am going to pull up uh, our other one. Right, so we're on episode 88. I thought we was on 87. We're on 88. Episode 88, y'all. We need to do a show every day so we can get to 100. That's what I think. I think we can make it. Let me look and see. Oh yeah, we had a new member upgrade last week. I think it was Phoenix upgraded her account. She actually was able to watch some of the videos. Thank you for watching the videos that are only for the 300K, 500K members. We appreciate y'all. Azrael, how you doing? Welcome. Good morning. Good afternoon. What's going on? Tim, how you doing? Let me see what else here. All right. So last week we wasn't able to do the video because we couldn't hear it. And it was about when should you hire a financial planner. I'm gonna play that video this week. I'm gonna play that video this week. Um, we didn't get a chance to talk about a lot of things, but let's talk about the elephant in the room first. The elephant in the room. Anybody can guess what the elephant in the room is? Anybody know? Anybody got an idea? Possibly could be. What happened this week? Let's put it like that. What happened this week? What's been happening the past couple of weeks? Right. We saw FTX. Right. We saw FTX take a nosedive. We saw Meta take a nosedive. Um, we saw a lot of things happen this week, and a lot of people are concerned. And you have the right to be concerned. You see 11,000 people get laid off. In fact, there's an article. Let me pull it up. I was actually going to talk about it. Um, they're talking about Twitter is going to file for bankruptcy. There was like, I'm going to file for bankruptcy. So let me try to find my article here about Twitter filing for bankruptcy. And before we talk about that, let me pull this up right here. Man, I got so much. I'm telling you, I got a lot. We got a lot to discuss. Um, Disney is going on a hiring freeze as well too. This article came out yesterday. Memo sent to Walt Disney CEO Bob Chapek to employees an upcoming hiring freeze and possible job cuts. This was a CNBC report. We're limiting headcount additions through a targeted hiring freeze. As we work through this evaluation process, we look at every avenue of operations, labor to find savings. And we do not anticipate some staff reduction. And we do, sir, anticipate some staff reduction as part of the review, said another part of Disney memo obtained by CNBC. Right, CNBC. All right. So we have, and I have I have an account with Business Journal as well too. So um, we can get whatever we need. Apple hiring freeze. Uh, Amazon had one too, but I'm gonna say this, and people don't like it when I say it. Government and government contracting never stop spending. They haven't. They've only continued to spend, and they're gonna continue to spend and continue to hire. It's just bottom line. And a lot of people say I don't want to work for the government. You don't want to work for the government. That's fine. But who works for the government? Amazon, Apple, Microsoft. Trust me, they have government contracts. Google has government contracts. Salesforce has government contracts. They all have government contracts. So when you say you don't want to work for the government, that's fine. They know where their money is at. They know how to go get some money, trust me. Oracle, they all in some capacity have their hand in government contracting. It may not be 70% of their money, but it's when you get in contracts that are 10 billion, 20 billion, 1 billion, 5 billion, 140 billion, 200 billion, you're 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 gonna put your hand in it. It's just you want a piece of the pie, right? You want a piece of the pie. So I'm just gonna leave it at like that. Yep, cell phone providers, people who need. You can get government contracts for redoing gyms. You can get a government contract for washing their cars or their trucks or delivering products or whatever. I hear it all the time. People are like, I don't want to work for the government, and what I'm saying is those companies, in some capacity, have their hand in government contracting and work for the government, and in some capacity, they employ people who work for the government. I'm and when I say government, I'm not telling you to go um, work for the federal government. I'm telling you, you can go work in as a contractor. You can own the business. You can do so many other things, right? I actually have I've been saying this for forever. I continue to say it. It's recession proof, and people don't want to hear that. They're like, you're limited with what you can do. The question is, what do you want to do? Right? We've already seen this year. Let me look it up real quick, and then I'll share it with you. Um, what was it? The uh, black entrepreneurs took home 0.12% of funding for startups. Uh, let's see, entrepreneurs. I think it was, see, took home less than 0.2%, right? Of startup money, right? So you go out and start a startup, but I mean, the likelihood of you getting funding, right, is very low, right? So now the next question is, where do you fit in it? Well, you do fit in with places like buying and acquiring companies. We just saw Vista Equity Partners acquired No Before, right? And I talked about this on another show, right? I just want you to. I'm not downing your. Please don't take it as I'm downing your dreams and hopes and aspirations on working for these companies and so forth. What I'm trying to get into your mind is you're not stuck. You can do other things. So here's the one. I had pulled this article up from October the 12th. Vista Equity Partners purchased No Before for $4.6 billion, right? I had a chance to work at, they're out of Clearwater. I had a chance to work at No Before probably like 4 years ago. And in fact, their CISO is a friend of mine, and he just hit me up and asked me, would I be interested in coming over there to do some work with them, because it's like they need some help. And he's like, the team liked you, and I met the founders and so forth, and we've talked throughout the years and so forth. But what I'm simply saying is, those companies like that, those, like what we've been seeing is these private equity companies, these hedge funds are acquiring companies, right? It's the year of acquisitions, if you really want to look at it, from Kroger acquiring Albertsons, and more companies are getting acquired, right? So we gotta. I personally think, this is Tamika thoughts, not anybody else. I personally think we need to start focusing on what skill sets are recession proof, and what businesses are, like they say, boring businesses that we can acquire, right? Make your money in tech and then go acquire businesses, go acquire real estate, go acquire land, go acquire um, a laundromat, a car wash, create your own investment group, understand long term investing. What does the 401k give you? What does your Roth 401k give you? What does a backdoor Roth give you? How can you set up a fund? How can you set up, do a syndication? I think those things are really, really, really important, long term, right? Like, and the reason why I tell y'all to get y'all skills up, I'm not telling you just to get your technical skills up. Also tell you to get your networking skills up and your business skills. When you come in as a person to a company and you understand all three aspects of it, the ability to filter out the BS comes really, really quickly, right? And when I say that, I mean, you get a chance to say, okay, what's the goal here? Is the what's our end result supposed to be? What's the end state supposed to look like? And now let's work backwards to get that end state. Oh, we don't have people with those skills. How can I get those skills now? How can you pay for those? Or how can we hire to get that? How do we need to move, right? Because now you become the leader, you become the leader in that area of how to help that team move. When you're making that team move, when you're doing things that way, you're now becoming that thought leader, right? And on top of that, you're executing, right? Leadership and execution, and on top of that, you're probably the one with the hands-on skills and having the ability to do that, right? So you may get a subscription to Pluralsight or O'Reilly or whatever the case may be, and then you move accordingly. You move accordingly, right? It is one of those things where, um, the more and more, and I've had this vision for a very, 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 very long time. Of This is one of the reasons why Women in Linux was started. But even prior to Women in Linux, it was, how can I get people to see, like, you can have these skills and then go buy assets, create your own companies. And when I say create your own companies, like, not in reinventing the wheel. Um, We see so many people go out and say, okay, well, I got this idea, and there's nothing wrong with ideas, that's not what I'm saying. But to get people behind your idea, you have to prove it, right? And so that takes time away from your everyday job or whatever. But what if you got behind an idea where you were you could see the vision of having a car wash, and you went into an investment group that turned this corner location into a car wash, right? It's still your idea, it's still an investment, it's still some time and effort put into that. But what if you're able to net 2 to 4 million on that? What if you're able to net on one location? What if you're able to net 600,000 on that? It's so funny. We're talking about this because often, often what I see is we go in trying to create over and over and over and over and over again, versus just being very boring and pull in stuff and go for them. And I'm not saying creation is bad. I'm just saying for right now, it's not so bad for you to be getting together with friends and so forth and investing, right? I'm not gonna say any names. I'm not gonna say what it was or whatnot. I'll just say I was able to invest in a company. What someone presented to me, it was 10K in a return, and I 5x'd my money on it. Well, I'm excited about it, right? So now the question is, what do you do with it when you go back into it again, right? Right. So I just leave it at that, and we're gonna have a word from our sponsor, and we're gonna get into the show and go from there. All right, word from our sponsor. Hey everybody, welcome to Women in Linux. I am Tam, and Dee is in the background, and we just want to share with you some of the perks of being here on our channel. All right, so first things first, if you want to connect with us on social media, connect with us anywhere on social media at Women in Linux. If that's just too much for you, you can always come and find us on womeninlinux.org. And if that's not enough, we have even more perks where you can hit the connect button. Once you hit connect button, you put your email address in here, and once you put your email address in here, it'll connect with us in our Slack group. We have tons of resources in our Slack group. People looking for jobs, people just looking for advice, people looking for information, and so forth. Right. So again, this is Slack. It's not Discord. So on with using Slack, warn you, it is resource heavy. So you may need to use either the web browser, or if you're on your phone, you should be fine. But if you're on your desktop, and we know most of you connect on your computer, it's easier to open it up in your web browser so it doesn't take up so much memory or so many processes and so forth. That's just an FYI. That's how I use it. Okay. And if you would like to shop with us, we still have our stuff from our 5 year stuff. Still good. We're working on more t-shirts. No, no estate, no date. We're still working on that. But again, if you want to shop and you want to get some merch, feel free to come here and get some merch. Again, if you come over here and click on all products, you'll see on all the products that we have, from hoodies to masks and so forth and so on, right? And if that isn't good enough for you, you can donate. You can always donate with your time. You can donate with your money. So, how do you donate with your time? You donate with your time by saying, hey, I would like to do a presentation, or I like to volunteer on helping us grow the channel. You retweet, you share this with other members. In fact, for those of you that come here every single week, we know you come here every single week and you don't subscribe, subscribe. That helps us grow the channel. That helps us get more content to you. Hey, research isn't easy. I'm not getting paid to do research. I wish it was at a university, but hey, I'm bringing this to you, right? I'm bringing this to you and us and for others, right? So if that doesn't work, you can always donate on PayPal by clicking the donate button. Once you hit the donate button, you have your own denominations in which you can donate. And if that doesn't work for you, you can always reach out to D and you can cut a check and send a check. That works for us as well. All right. So what are some other things that we actually do have as well? right? So we have a discount with IT Pro TV. You get 30% off. I've used IT Pro TV myself. I've done interviews with them. I'll pull those up as well too. But as you can see, I'm logging into IT Pro TV. What are the benefits here? You need to learn how you learn. So one of the things you can do in IT Pro TV, you can come over here. You can click on courses, and it gives you a list of courses that's separating them out by certification and also separate them out by learning paths. You're like, Tamika, what does that mean? My four basic principles or my four basic foundations of skill sets that you should have is Linux. You should also have an automation tool, whether it's Terraform or Ansible. You should know at least a cloud. I don't care. Pick either one. And finally, last but not least, security. And security comes in multiple forms: security of the operating system, security of the application, and also security of containers, right? And cloud security. So it's multiple facets when we're talking about security. Those are your four basics that you're going to need to to get you a job and then move you up. All right. And we're going to talk about our membership here in another video, but I just want to get this out to you. All right. So that's 30% off of IT Pro TV. And last but not least, our Calendly. We have set up for our Calendly. Let me pull that up. I think I have it saved in my browser here, so I can just go straight to it. If not, I'll get it from D here. Here we go, right here. All right. So with Calendly, we have one-on-one sessions. That's where you get to talk to either me or D, and you can request either one. But where you get to talk to us in a one-on-one session, right? Interview prep. Some of you are getting ready for interviews, or you've never interviewed before. We want to prep you for an interview. Resume review. Let's go over what you have, or let's pull all your skills together. Let's get things formatted properly. Let's get everything going. And last but not least, career assessment. What is your journey? What could it look like? What could you be going through? What are your next steps? Some of you are transitioning, some of you are not, some of you are looking to transition, and some of you are just trying to figure out what is your next step. So by saying all of this, we want you to enjoy your time here at Women in Linux. And also, as always, don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the share button, and last but not least, thank yourself that you actually did it. All right, so did the opening monologue. What I want to also say is, on top of all those things, is what areas do you need to recession proof your skill sets in, or where should you be looking to buy, or where you should be looking to invest into in terms of government contracting or business center around that area and so forth, right? So we all see the money, we all see the plays that are going on, right? My personal thoughts, and we can dig into not necessarily Kanye and Kyrie, right? My thoughts on that is you don't own nothing, you got to do what you're told, right? Um, However, when I say you don't own anything, and I'd say this on multiple channels, I've said this before, um, you don't own the data, right? And when I say you don't own the data, meaning you don't own how the data, you don't own the data center, you don't own the data lines, and you don't own how the data gets pushed out. You're actually using other platforms in order to do that, right? There are very few owned black owned data centers, right? Not to say that we can't build them, not to say we can't do it, we just don't, right? You know, the easy way out is go on StreamYard or whatever you choose to use, spin up an account, pay it every month, connect it up to your platforms, and then go from there, right? That's easy, right? But underneath that, even underneath StreamYard is YouTube. Under YouTube is some cloud, some devices, some servers, some SSDs, some memory, some CPU sitting in a data center somewhere located in some data center out in Idaho or resting or overseas somewhere being cooled by some air, this, that, and other. So, from that data center out, there's some data lines from Verizon, AT&T, T-Mobile used to be Sprint. Sprint used to own their data lines as well too, but AT&T, T-Mobile, Verizon, all the telcos that own theirs, and then push that data out, right? So, so that's to say, I'm saying that to say is, imagine if you owned from top to bottom how your data gets out from your own your own talk network, your own satellites, your own cell towers, and so forth. Imagine that, right? Imagine that. I don't know. I don't know if it's still around. I don't know if WAOK or WOAK, was it? Is that what it was? Talk radio, is that still around? One day black on. I'm not sure. I don't remember. It was around for a while. Their news talk radio, WAOK. Yeah, they were they were streaming around for a while. But again, I'm literally just okay. It's now it's Christian. Oh yeah, it's Christian. WOAK is a Christian radio station licensed to Lagrange, Georgia. It used to be talk radio. You can get on the FM stations as well too. I don't know. No, I don't know. Most people don't even listen to AM stations or whatnot. But again, talk radio, like that's really how a lot of things got started, was radio. I mean, back in the day, they didn't have TV. They listened to the radio, right? They listened to the radio, right? Look how far we've come from listening to the radio to now we stream, we get information at our fingertips from various news sources, from CNBC to overseas news stations to YouTube to your TMZ, Shade Room, whatever the case may be, right? Whoever you choose to listen to, right? So the way we get information now is totally, totally different than what it originally was. All right. So when I was talking before, here's right here. The FCC established a new bureau dedicated to the satellite industry oversight, right? It's a new bureau, right? This came out November 3rd. The FCC has set up a new bureau, and I'll blow this up some. A new bureau dedicated to improving the agency's oversight of the satellite industry. It is one of two new offices to come out of the internal reorganization of the SEC, which has also created a standalone office of international affairs. According to the FCC, the changes will help the bureau fulfill its statutory obligations and to keep the pace of the rapidly changing satellite industry and global communications policy. Right? And you're saying, Tamika, why do we even care about this? Well, you should, because it goes back to who controls space, where people are going, edge devices, cloud computing, including fog computing, which I'll bring up another day. I was reading going over some stuff about fog computing, but what I'm telling you is, you're saying, how do we stay abreast on what's going on? These new commissions, these new policies that get created, also spin up government contracts, also spin up jobs, also spin up people looking for people with those skills in order to get in that. That's your pace. That's how you stay abreast, right? If the solicitation has already came out, you're already too late. Really, that's what it is. But you're never too late with getting the skills. That's the difference. Maybe too late to win the contract, but never too late with getting the skills, right? So, establishing a standalone space bureau will elevate the importance of satellite programs and policies internally, and will also acknowledge the role of satellite communication and advancing domestic communication policies. According to the agency, under the Commissions Act of 1934, the FCC licensed radio frequency uses by satellite and ensures that the space systems reviewed by the agency, have sufficient plans to mitigate orbital debris, space junk. That's another one, right? You want to know where people are going? They're going into space. What's going to happen? Space junk. Things that are going to start coming back to the Earth, and potential damage, or things that are floating out there where they don't want someone um, foreign to get to intercept their junk and then start taking things apart and using it against them, or using it for their own technology and advancing it, right? The FCC also the FCC said they're creating two new separate offices that will allow the expertise to be more consistently leveraged across the organization's different bureaus. Commenting on reorganization, FCC Chairman Rosen Workle said the satellite industry is growing at a record pace, but here on the ground, our regulatory frameworks for licensing them have not kept up. Over the past 2 years, this agency has received applications for 64,000 new satellites. Starlink launched 132,000, right? That's just 64,000 new satellites. In addition, we are now seeing new commercial models, new players, and new technologies coming together to pioneer a wide range of new satellite services and space based activities that need access to wireless airwaves. If you don't see the writing on the wall, I don't know what you don't see. Like, right? Today I announced a plan to build on this success and prepare for what comes next, she added. A new space bureau at the FCC will ensure that the agency resources are appropriately aligned to fulfill its statutory obligations, improve its coordinations across the federal government, and support the 21st century satellite industry. So where do you think we're going? You can type in the chat. What do you what kind of let's ask this. What kind of skills do you think that you would need to be a part of the satellite industry? You type in the chat what skills you think that you would need to have to be a part of the satellite industry. And what skills do you think your children would need to have in order to be in that industry? Because that industry is not going anywhere. Type in the chat what your thoughts are. We'll go to the next one. All right, our next one is deals with Idaho National Lab spearheading cyber informed engineering action plan for electric grid. Right, so cyber wars across satellites, electric grids, water supply is very huge. Right, so let's keep going. Idaho National Laboratory is developing an action plan with National Institute of Standards and Technology to ensure utility companies and the rest of the energy sector use cyber informed engineering when connecting to the electric grid. The action plan will build on the national cyber informed engineering strategy released by the Department of Energy in June, and ask organizations what they can do to help secure the grid of future and contribute to standard bodies and frameworks. The strategy sets up the department's core priorities to protecting the energy industry, right? What skills do you think you would need to protect an electric grid? What does that look like, right? We saw in Texas, was it last year or year before last, when the grids went out, when the power grids went out, and that was due to a snowstorm and so forth. But imagine someone actually, which has already happened, just shuts off a power grid across California, and say this happened all at the same time. Say that shit off a power grid across California, New York, DC, um, California, New York, DC, Texas, um, and let's say Florida, right? What what's important about those areas? Think about what's important in those areas. I would even say North Carolina too. If you think about what's important in those areas, if those things get shut down, let's say they got shut down for a week. Say they got shut down for a week. What do you think would happen, and why are those important? All right, so back to the article. Department of Energy committed 16 million in 2021 to connecting solar and wind energy sources and electric vehicle charging stations to the electric grid. But previously, cybersecurity was an afterthought. It always is. As a result, the Office of Cybersecurity, Energy Security, and Emergency Response now plans to fund pilots migrating clean water systems to the cloud, municipal utilities, and rural cooperatives, and threat information sharing through a forthcoming energy threat analysis center. Right? How do we use and inherent properties of the grid in terms of sensors and analytics and marry it up with cyber intelligence? So there was a ton that I just said right here, right? Now plans to fund pilots migrating clean water systems to the cloud, municipal utilities and rural cooperatives, and threat information sharing through a forthcoming energy threat analysis center. There's a lot there, right? So probably some type of sensor that's going to be read up to the cloud using some type of AI based on some previous data, doing a comparison of letting you know whether something was bad, good, or bad, and need to be done in seconds, right? Securing that data as well too. Municipal utilities and rural cooperatives a chance to do things locally, get people locally involved, and threat information sharing through a forthcoming energy threat analysis center. How do we use and inherit properties of the grid in terms of sensors and analytics and married up with cyber intelligence, right? Um, CESER works with more than 3,000 electric utilities, heat, oil, and natural gas companies, and renewable energy companies to prepare for, mitigate, and respond to threats from natural disasters to cyber attacks, right? At the same time, the DOE is providing intelligence and forensic analysis services to its four power marketing administrators, PMAs, right? Which sell hydropower to utilities serving 65 million people across 35 states. Right now, Western Area Power Administrator is working with us to enable their resilience through putting some of their services and monitoring in the cloud, right? Here we go, right? I've said the base things, right? Cloud. I've said cyber. I've said analytics. I've also said AI. I've also said people to understand and make do nice charts, pretty charts to give people so they can understand what all these things mean. And again, when we're looking at power grids and solar panels and also wind turbine, we're looking at edge devices as well too, right? We're in that area where those are your skills. If you know want to recession proof your skills and you want to have skills for the next 10 years, that's where you should be. I keep saying it again over and over again. AI, cloud computing, your understanding Linux, distributed computing, fog computing, quantum computing, um anything dealing around cyber and compliance are going to be your sweet spots. Um, if you just want to be there for 30 years and ride that thing out. And I'm not saying 30 years in a company, one company. I'm saying you can move around however you want to with those same set of skills. Afternoon, Helmet, how you doing? Tony B, what's going on? And Tawana, how you doing? Right. So you got to remember, these things are not going anywhere. They're just not, right. We're not. You'll see people migrate off the cloud to the cloud, hybrid, what have you, VMware, um, Kubernetes, on-prem, off-prem, on-prem clouds, those things. But you need to understand how to set those things up. What's going to always be true is storage and networking. You're never going to get rid of storage. You're never going to get rid of networking. It's just not going to happen, right? So even if you decide to go and deal with advanced storage and that's your route that you're going, you're not going to get that from school. You're not going to get advanced storage training from college. You're just not. You're just not. They you may do that in your research, but you're not going to get trained on how to take an HP or SAN or some type of whatever storage and rack pure storage and rack and stack it and get it going and have a database, a distributed database using that or what have you. You're not going to get that in college. You're just not. You're going to understand what RAIDs are, but you're not going to get uh you're not going to get how to rack and stack them. You may get how to create a storage unit, right? You may get how to create storage, right? You may get how to write software that storage can handle. You will get that in college. You will get a class where they talk about linked lists and stacks and queues and arrays and so forth and so on. But and what type of algorithms you should use to make that storage faster or what have you. You'll get that, right? But if you don't want to program that and be on the other side and be on the end result side where you're like, okay, I log into this console. I have to create these many lines. I have to create this many virtual devices, or I got to create this many groups or something like that. You're not gonna get that, right? You're just not gonna get that. Automation, yes. Salute Alonzo, how you doing? Him aside from death in Texas, we always need networking and storage. Yeah, just not going anywhere. It's just not, right. I don't care how small the storage device is. I don't care if it's SSD or in memory or cache or whatever. It's gonna always be a part of our lives, right? All right, so how do we inherit properties of the grid in terms of sensor and analytic married with cyber intelligence? Said, I guess, Kumar, director of CESER, during FCA Bethesda event Thursday. This is a big effort and that we're undertaking. Caesar works with more than 3,000 electric utilities, heat, oil, and natural gas companies, and renewable energy companies to prepare for, mitigate, and respond to threats from natural disaster and cyber attacks. At the same time, the DOE is providing intelligence and forensics analysis services to its four power marketing administrators, which sell the 65 million over the states. Right now, Western Area Power Administration is working with us to enable their resilience through putting some of their services and monitoring in the cloud. Right, Western Area Power Administration. Western Area Power Administration. WPA.gov, right here. Robotic solutions using automation to complete repetitive electronic tasks, power marketing, transmission. They have training as well too. Careers at WAPA, so forth and so on. Here's some of the regions that they're a part of as well too, right? So just a quick look that up real quick and see what they're talking about. The Federal Energy Regulatory Commission will ultimately determine if those pilots are a success during green lighting their expansion. Caesar is able to push cyber capabilities DOE develops with PMAs out to the industry. While operational technology was neglected in the past, DOE is working with PMAs to ensure that their OT is well instrumented to obtain quality data that can be combined with threat intelligence and shared broadly. Duncan said the goal is to use PMA data as a warning system for other parts of DOE and international partners. She added, if you think about who's attacking DOE, many of the people who are going to go after PMAs first may see them as potentially a softer target. Duncan said, even if they're not, they perceive them that way, right? So we're talking about people being power grids being attacked, your water being attacked, right? Those are the things that are being attacked. Wind turbine, those things are being attacked. So how do you secure those? Reason why I brought this up again is about recession proofing your skill sets, also having longevity, and also knowing where the industry is going, so you can acquire businesses or create businesses around those industries, right? Those are things that you should be worried about, right? And I want to bring. Let me see if I can find this video that I had up here that I had looked at. Um, Let me see. I thought I had it here. I might have put it in Slack, but I thought it was funny, actually. Yeah, I did. I put it in Slack. So I thought it was funny. So when let me see. I don't know how long this video is. We're not gonna listen to all of it, but I just thought it was funny because it's the exact way I felt, and I've always felt this way. Okay, so everybody has been talking. Hold on. So here we go. I'm gonna turn this up. Um, because everybody says this. Everybody says we're in a recession, right? And I swear to you, out of all the years that I've been working, I just haven't, I just haven't felt it, right? So let's go here. Thank you for joining. Talking about the recession, and everybody's talking about, um, just how terrible things are going to be, and how one party wants to get the other party out of the office because the party that wants to get everybody out, the economy was doing well, and now the party that's in, folks are struggling. Let me help you understand something. It doesn't matter who is in office. If you do not take care of your own personal economy, then it can be either good or bad in any situation. Now, let me help you understand something. Even when there is an economic disaster, when things go wrong, when whether it's a natural disaster or Hurricane Katrina or 9/11 or the pandemic, there are people who are making money. Don't let them fool you and make you think that everybody is down and everybody is. Let me tell you, 2020 was the year of people like, oh, so we need people up, and we need people setting up instances in the cloud. We need our workstations up in the cloud. We need VDIs in the cloud. We need this in the cloud. We need for you to lock those things down. We need for you to do these cyber things. We need you to do X, Y, and Z. Those things happened, right? And it was a mass. And you want to talk about people who were looking for people? Oh well, and this is true. This happened. People are like, well, if you already have a full-time job, that's cool. We'll still want you to work. We still want you to work, right? We still want you to work, right? Because we got jobs, right? I talked about this a couple of weeks ago, right? The population, even though the population is growing, the working population is dying off. And in other words, they're saying that women aren't producing enough kids, right? It's supposed to be 2.1 kids per woman, right? They're saying that women are not producing enough kids. And so therefore that the population is dying off. The working population is dying off. What's also dying off is the skills. We don't have enough people with skills. So you can see people out here working 3 and 4 jobs. Is one, some unique skills that people don't have. Two, some people don't want to get those unique skills. And three, some people don't want to work. It's just what it is, right? Some people don't want to work. Some people are okay with 9 to 5 and go home and live their life, right? And this debate comes up often. People are like, you need to live a normal life. And I'm like, what's normal? What are you defining as normal? Getting up, going to work, coming home, spending time with your family, watching TV, is that normal? That may not be normal to somebody. What is normal, right? We often hear um, people complaining about, like, they don't have enough, right? What's enough, right? What's too much? Everybody has this thing, this idea, this thing that you're supposed to be, and what they think you're supposed to be. Let me say that, right? And you have an idea of what you're supposed to be. Right? You have your own dreams, your own hopes, your own aspirations, and your own direction, right? So No one can tell you what you should be doing, but it's okay to receive guidance. But no one can tell you like this is what you the way you got to live in order to be blah 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 blah. So and we found that out this week, right? We found that out this week with FTX real quick, didn't we? We found that out with we found it out with Theranos, right? We found that out with her too, right? We found all the billionaires and how they live, and the rug is out. The gig is up more than everybody. The gig is up. All right, so let's get back to Lynn.
Is out. Everybody is not down and out. What has to happen is that we have to have our own agenda for our own households, for our own communities. You must have your agenda. Now, let me tell you one of the things that is on my agenda. Right now, I'm about to take you to the Lynn Richardson coffee shop. Yes, I am not buying coffee out there in them streets, okay? I'm making my own coffee. And let me tell you something.
Yeah, she gonna make her own coffee, but we can skip all of that. What I'm simply saying, the word is everybody ain't in a recession. Everybody's not sitting in a recession. So if you think that you don't have the right set of skills to be recession proof, what are you going to do to change that? What's going to be your thing to change that, right? All right. So we talked about acquiring businesses and so forth, right? I found this video right here, which I thought was quite interesting. Is about two student athletes that built $1 billion beverage company. And so we're gonna get in. It's only 56 seconds, so we don't have to you don't have to sit here for a long time. But again, I just want to know, what are you going to do to recession proof your skills? And what are you going to and what skills are you going to acquire? Are you going to learn how to acquire businesses? Are you going to get your Series 65? Are you going to do investing? What are you going to do, with that? In fact, you know what? For today, I feel like this should be something um we do as an investor. So D, I'm gonna switch it up, right? We're gonna look at this, but let's look at this and then I'll come back. We're gonna switch it up a little bit. Let's look at this real quick.
These two former student athletes built $1 billion water company on TikTok by using this hashtag. Garrett and Andy have taken the beverage industry basically by storm. They racked up thousands of viral videos with over 1 billion views, debuted in Walmart in like mid-April. Circle is what the company's called. They sold more than 1,000,005 units. Just got the idea in the locker room at Dartmouth College where they played football, and Garrett was pouring powder into a water bottle and made a mess everywhere. And that's when the idea for flavored cartridges came from. In 2017, they raised $140K from Indiegogo, where you can raise money crowdfunding. In 2021, their company's website surged about 400% from a bunch of these videos going viral. They didn't have to pay any influencers. People just started posting it themselves. Now this is $1 billion beverage company, all based off TikTok and smart marketing. What's stopping you from creating the next $1 billion company? Be the next Pepsi or Coca-Cola, but 21st century edition.
All right. So the off of a thought, right? Probably did some trial runs with those cartridges and so forth. But what are your thoughts on that, right? How can you do that? How could you help them market that, right? So little ideas are around that. But what I want to do is we're gonna play a game. All right, so you need to be camera ready. Um we're gonna do a giveaway real quick. I just want to see what your thoughts are, right? Um what are you gonna do to recession proof your skills, right? What are you gonna do to recession proof your skills? So D, let's drop the link for those that come up. We're gonna play a game. We're gonna let the people in the audience decide whether or not you're actually recession proofing your skills. So you drop the link for the person. I'm gonna give away. I don't know. I don't know how much I'm gonna give away today. I have no idea. It's just my random thought today. So D, drop the link. Be camera ready. For those that come up, if your idea sounds good, sounds solid, um, I don't know. Let's give him $25. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how I feel, but yeah. So D, drop the link. I'll give away $25 for and the audience. You get a chance to you get a chance to be the judge, right? Let's see where you're at. Let's see if you thought about it. Let's see where you're going. You come up, you tell me where you're at right now. And then you also tell me where you're going and how you're gonna get there. So let's drop the link. If it sounds solid, I'll give you $25. No big deal. Let's go. Let's see where everybody at. Till we get some people in the back. I'm gonna keep going on my thoughts here. Till we get some people in the back. All right. So the next thing up that I saw that I think you all would admire here, or just want to take a look at, was Moss Adams sent over an email. And the email was based on tax planning for businesses. Tax planning for businesses. And I thought this link would kind of help you guide you through some things, right? Um, they got tax planning for businesses. They got an overview for businesses, cash flow strategies, payroll taxes, income taxes, international taxes, IRS updates, employer spotlight, and state and local taxes. And so these are just somewhere where you can come learn about just different taxes, what they're doing, and so forth and so on, right? So if you click on here, cash flow strategies. If you click on this, they say, all right, let's go back here. Let's blow this up. Let me blow it down a little bit so I can see. All right. Businesses that leverage tax credits and incentives wisely can save significant amounts, taking money that might otherwise have gone to the IRS or state or local department of revenue, and reinvesting it in their business instead. In many cases, even if you discover that you qualify for certain credits and incentives after the fact, you can go back over a period of years and amend tax returns to take advantage of them retroactively, right? So they talk about cash flow overview, R&D tax credits, employee retention tax credit, disaster relief tax credit, and net operating loss rules. So those that have businesses and stuff, this may be something that you want to look at when you're talking about taxes and so forth, and what business tax credits are available out there to you. This is not financial advice. I'm just giving you things that I find interesting and along the way. Again, we're playing a game right now. I want to see where you're at and where you're going. We're gonna let the people in the audience be the judge and the jury on this. We're giving away $25. See anybody that's gonna come up and give us a solid plan, and we're gonna be judge and jury, right? I'm giving you free advice, and I'm giving you money. Where where they do that at, right? All right, so here we go. Let's look at. I want to look at this right here, the Treasury Award. The Treasury awarded $5 billion, and Professor Blackhouse, we're gonna get to you in a minute. Treasury awarded $5 billion in new market tax credit authority, right? And I was like, I don't even know what this was, right? I was like, what is this, right? So let's scroll up here. The Community Development Financial Institutions, the CDFI Fund, is a division of the U.S. Department of Treasury, announced a $5 billion in new market tax credits, and it's an allocation authority on October 28th. The new market tax credit program is authorized through 2025 with $5 billion of allocation authority awarded annually to highly qualified community development entities, right? Which in turn use that authority to catalyze investments in traditionally underserved communities throughout the United States. Did y'all know this? Thank you, Elo. Did y'all know about this? Did y'all know about this The NMTC program is authorized through 2025 with 5 billion of allocation authority awarded annually to highly qualified community development entities, which in turn use the authority to catalyze investments in traditionally underserved communities throughout the United States. The calendar year they showed the awards for 2021 spur investment in economic growth in low income urban and rural communities across the nation. A total of 107 CDEs were attached to the NMTC allocation, ranging from 20 million to 60 million. The successful CDEs are headquartered in 35 different states and in DC. In total, 199 CDEs applied for approximately $14.7 billion in allocation, demonstrating not only competitive nature of the awards, but the demand for this valuable financing tool in these traditionally underserved communities. So things get offered in your community and make money on it. You didn't even know these exist. For sounds like to me. A successful awardee committed to providing at least 85% of their allocation to several distressed communities, and 17 awards were designed as rural CDEs, with a total of 51 CDEs committing to deploy approximately 994 million of allocation in rural communities. Right. So I'm gonna drop this link. Yep, I said that. I said that. The history of the MTC program was established by Congress in 2000, aiming to spur investments in traditionally underserved low-income communities. 39%, the 39% tax credit for investment in these communities incentivizes investors to help finance economic development projects that create jobs and provide services to low-income persons. A 39% tax credit, right? So let's think about it. If I could use this program to maybe acquire a business, a mom and pop business in that area, right? That don't want to be there anymore. Or if I could use that to acquire maybe a restaurant in the area, or if I could use it to acquire a car wash that's in the area. And it's so funny because one of the videos I was looking at, one of the ladies, she said, if you ever want to make these are her words, not my words. And she said, you wonder how you can make a white business become a black business, acquire it. Those are her words, not mine. Right. So I'm just giving you another way where you can find out where this money is at and how to use this in order to acquire businesses in your own neighborhood, employ people in your own neighborhood, start establishing your own businesses. Right. You don't have to necessarily start from scratch. You can get in there and help look at the books, streamline it. Some people are not, small businesses are not on the internet, right? Advertising and so forth. I was looking at a show, and one of the guys was saying that this lady had a good restaurant. She had good they had she had it was a small restaurant, and she said they said she had good food, but she had no social media presence or anything. The service was good and everything, and they said she went under because she didn't have any social media presence, and she didn't have anybody to help her out with that. So sometimes your business could be going in is to help those businesses advertise, to streamline them, to help come up with a training program for those businesses to get them out there, right? But you're also creating, and you can use this fund, and you're getting 39% on a tax credit for that business that you're investing into, right, in the community, that affects other people around you, right? All right, so in the back we got Professor Black Ops. Let's see what you got. Let's bring you up. Let's see what you're talking about, sir.
What's going on? D got me hazing me, keeping me in the back. No, I'm just playing. I wanted to go first to see if I'm recession proof because I'm old, man. They
Oh,
might get me
well, well,
first.
well, let's talk about it.
Okay.
Let's say, where you're currently at right now,
Mhm.
and then do you think that you're going to be employed come 2023, unemployed come 2023, and then what's your plan to rectify that?
Okay, that was two questions. Do I think I'm gonna be unemployed in 2023? That's actually a tricky question because I've been on the bench for quite a while, and we know people don't keep you on the bench indefinitely, right? So
Hmm. Hmm.
I've probably been on the bench for 6 months. For those who know, the quick definition of bench is I was at a client. That client no longer needed my services. I was too expensive, so they released me. The company feels they can put me somewhere else, so they keep me on the bench right until they find me somewhere else. But
Hmm.
we know you in the game, you can't be indefinitely on the bench, right?
Right, right.
Right. So I believe if they don't find me something by
The end of the
probably
year.
February, yeah, I'm gonna be released. They
Okay.
actually released a young guy on my team, which kind of shook me up because at least I thought they would wait till after the holidays. So that's kind of a little bit going
No
on
one
me.
cares. No one cares about your feelings.
Oh, that's why I tell people. I tell B to B that get out your feelings, young man. You're a resource, right? I feel bad for him, but I understand the game, right? Just two different things. Right? I can feel bad for you and go, I understand the game, right? So
Right, right.
you,
And so, so let's talk about your skill set.
yep.
That you have right now.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
Now, I know that you've been studying AWS
mm-hmm,
and security.
mm-hmm,
Um, but what aspect outside of Steaks are you studying, and what
mm-hmm.
aspect of AWS are you studying?
Okay. Let me see. So currently, my skill set is I do federal compliance. I usually work at big government installations doing STIG. There's some called IRS Pub 1075. There's a company called CIS. So that's my background. So usually I work on big, large government projects. So like you talking about, I'm thinking foreignly, what could I get in that was hotter to make me more valuable? Right. So
Hmm.
I got an AWS. I think they're the 800-pound gorilla. I agree with you. I think you need to be multi-cloud, but before you get to multi-cloud, you need one cloud. So I
Yeah.
start off with AWS. Currently, I got 4 certifications. I got the cloud practitioner, I got the associate architect, the associate developer, and of course, I got the cloud security. In the
Hmm.
next 2 weeks, I'm gonna take the cloud sysops, and I really want to end up in DevOps job role. Hopefully, in 2023, I want to move from compliance to DevOps in AWS. So I'm getting those skills so I can understand each piece. Right when I go to DevOps, how the
Hmm.
architecture, how the developers think, and just trying to understand that whole process. I've done each process on prem because I've been in the
Hmm.
game for 30 years, but it's a little different in the cloud. I've been kind
Hmm.
of struggling a little bit because I'm out. Go ahead, Tim. I'm gonna let you
No,
get in there.
no, no, no. So now my question is, what do you want your end game to be? Do you want your end game to be, you want to be a W-2 employee? Do you want to be a 1099 employee? And then let's just be clear and honest
Mhm.
about this.
Yeah.
How does age affect you in your decision making on
No,
this?
facts.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah. I like that. Let's be real. I always try to be real is as you get older, I'm not gonna talk for you, I'm talking for me is I feel like I'm taking a little less risk because I don't have a lot of times to recover, right? If I get
Hmm.
taken out 55 and ain't like I'm 20, ain't like I got 30 years to recover. Because
Hmm.
one reason I got AWS and I'm joking, but I'm serious is I need to get on the next wave that's going to get me to retirement. So I said, cloud is hot. I got security. Let me put cloud security together and I'm going to ride that on to 65 and get out the game. So that's kind of
Okay.
what I'm thinking. So the question is, what part of the game am I going to ride for 10 years, right? So,
Well, not only that's what part of the game, what companies are a part of that game for, in
facts.
order for you to ride that out.
Right. To
So,
be to be honest, I'm gonna interrupt you. Is I actually had an interview, and we can get into it if you want. I had a 6 hour interview with AWS, and
mhm,
you always talked about this. It was premature because I needed some more lab work. I needed some more experience. I got to the third round. And I got a 6 hour interview, but they told me, no, you're not ready, young man. So I got to get back in the lab and work on my skills. And I knew that. It was weird. I went for a compliance job. Next thing I know, they're so big. I'm interviewing for an engineering role, and I'm like, dude, where's the compliance at? But hell, I'm here. Let's keep rolling. So,
right. And that's what I mean. Like when it comes, you like picking and choosing the company, right?
mm-hmm,
You
mm-hmm.
know, some companies are very, very huge where you are the number, right? And you can
Facts.
easily fall into the background and
Mhm.
ride that out, right? And
Mhm.
switch around and so forth and be done. But then you got to also look at it from this perspective. How much money are you actually gaining over that 10-year period, right? Are you actually able to stack enough money where, not saying that you can retire off them 10 years, but it gets you to the point of where you are comfortable in that retirement phase, right?
Mhm.
So the next part of that is not just the skill sets, it's also, are you able to maintain or gain new skill sets and a new network?
Mhm.
Like don't discount your network as well,
Mm.
right?
Mm. Mhm.
So it is my personal take for you, right? You
Mhm.
already have four certs. The fifth cert is really not gonna make or break you. What's gonna make or break you, if you want to get into DevOps or DevSecOps, is you need to go and sit down and literally study uh, GitOps and understand. Go look at the videos from KubeCon, which is one of the things I was going to do today on the second show, and
Okay.
understand, especially with the things that I just talked about. How is the satellite industry going to use DevSecOps to
Mhm.
secure satellites? How
Mhm.
are we going to use DevSecOps to or even ML ops
Mhm.
to secure models? What does that look like? If you, I mean, and this is from a multitude of perspectives here. And when I say a multitude of perspectives, it is from a perspective of, if you do this now and you start and you get into a company, if you decided to walk away in 5 years, you can still be a consultant.
Mhm. Mhm.
And as a consultant, you can say, did y'all consider these things? Did you consider
Mhm.
these things? Here are new regulatories that are coming out. This is how I think you should move. Now you could be a consultant to a startup, or you could be a consultant to an agency that is trying to bring in a startup. You can be a consultant at Techstars, that a couple of groups out of Techstars are looking to bring in people from startups and government contracted married to. There's a big push for that. I think they're spending like $40 billion there. And what I'm simply saying is, understand who you are as a person and as well as a business.
Mhm.
So that way you don't get into that pigeonhole of going down. I'm working for someone
Mhm.
as
Mhm.
a W-2, but I'm
Mhm.
working for someone as a 1099. And now that money that you're getting 1099, you can be an investor, you can have business credit, you can become that accredited investor, you can become that go-to person.
Mhm.
Those are my takes, right?
Mhm.
You may have a total different idea, but I just want you to, I want you to utilize what you already have right now.
Yeah. Facts. Facts.
You already have the skills right now. But if you really want to get into DevSecOps, again, Terraform, Ansible, Cloud,
Mhm.
cloud security is super huge.
Mhm. Mhm.
Understanding how to automate compliance, how to move
Facts.
continuous compliance, your
Mhm. Mhm.
continuous ATO,
Mhm.
all those
Mhm.
things are readily
Available. Facts.
now.
Facts.
like
Yeah. I've
like
been
right
studying them. No, I've
even
been studying.
even robotics.
Mhm.
When we talk about no code, low code, and robotics, those are things right now. Like, oh, I don't have to wait next year in order to do that. I could do that right now and
Mhm.
be okay for the next 5 years. And if I decide that I want to do something else, of course, every year you're gonna have to do an assessment. And
Oh, facts.
I was talking to someone, and this is Tameika's philosophy. If I don't improve my income, my overall take home every year by at least anywhere from 25 to 50,000, I consider myself a failure. I probably was talking to D about this. I consider myself, I have failed. Not that I have failed other people, I have failed myself, because I never want to be stagnant. I never want to be like, oh, this year I made 155 and then next year I made 158, or I made 160. Nah, that ain't it. I gotta move. I gotta push. I gotta push forward, right? And it's my own goal, not something somebody set up for me. That's my own take. That's my own goal. So
What you want me to respond to? What you want me to respond to in that? I'm just
I don't
asking.
want you to
No,
respond to anything. I'm gonna shoot you your money, but I just want to give
I
you.
don't want the money. Put it to the women, to the well, man.
I will. But
Shoot it
what
to
I
the well.
but
But
what I want, but I, what I my final take is what I want to
mhm.
get you out of, because I see you do it all the time, is analysis paralysis. I
No,
think
I'll be moving. No, I'll be
you
moving.
you
The,
do
the, 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 the only reason
you
I say I'll be
move.
moving is I got certain, so I did something. I'm not paralysis. I made
You
a decision and I went there. Go
okay,
ahead.
okay, so yeah, so those four certs, right? They should
Mhm.
be netting you a minimum of 25,000 a piece, right? Minimum. That's Tamika personal take.
See how she picking on me, Dime, man. You see how she picking on the old people, Dime,
You
man. No, I'm
you
just
you
bullshit.
you
No,
chose
you good. You good.
you chose you clicked on the link.
Nah, I love it. I love feedback. Now, at my age, I always tell people you got to be able to take critical, feedback, right? And
I
everything you saying
agree.
is legit. I don't think you criticize me. It's just things you said you want to see me do to move forward to make me a better person. So I'm not taking it,
No, I just
bad or anything.
yeah, but I just want to see you execute, right?
Oh,
Like,
facts, facts,
and
facts.
then the next level I think you should do. This is Tamika's wish list for you.
Okay,
Tamika's
okay.
wish list for you is go to the conference and speak at a conference.
I just spoke online at a conference. Now you want me to get up at
Now
the conference?
I want you to get your ass up.
Oh my God! See, Don, how they treating old people, Don, man.
I don't care if they put you in a wheelchair and roll you in with a
I just
toupee.
I just
I
talked
don't
to
I
I
don't
just
care.
talked at the Central Indiana ISSA security
Yeah,
twice.
but you need to be at conferences like
A little bigger. I got to start somewhere. That was
yeah.
my baby conference. I was getting
You
my
could do
baby
well. You
conference in
could
there.
you could do a conference at B sides, right? But
Hmm.
here's what I'm saying to you. Your words and visibility and the ability for others to see you open up doors and have people speaking your names when you're not in the room, and they
Facts,
didn't
facts.
and you didn't know that you were even talked about. And I can give you this from this perspective, right? And Natasha can vouch for this, and Dee can vouch for this. People come to our meetups on Wednesdays, and they'll be talking and they'll say something like, "You inspired me." And believe you me, I probably have not had a one-on-one conversation with them.
Oh,
So
facts.
what I'm simply saying to you, you're fulfilling locally when you have a chance to fulfill globally and be in rooms where people speak your name without you even advertising and advocating for yourself. And you do yourself a disservice by not doing that. And so when it comes down to what's your next plan or what your next goal is or what you're interested in, somebody has already sparked that light for you. And so now instead of you moving into a company that's going to give you the 180 or the 200, you're moving into a director role where they're going to give you 300 and you build your own team. Or they're going to give you equity where they're set to IPO in the next 2 or 3 years, where it changes the trajectory of your overall view. And now you're in the 1 million and the 2 million role, right? So what I'm saying to you is think bigger than what you've been, what you're now. You're on the bench, you're getting your certs great, you're utilizing your time. But what I'm saying, take it to the next level and put yourself in a position where you make the decision on how you want to move in terms of I want to be big. I'm gonna be an evangelist. I'm gonna go here and I'm gonna do that. And if you really want to, go work at HashiCorp. They ready. They got jobs out there right now. If you want to, we had the guy on our YouTube channel. He's looking for an SRE person for at Salesforce. We posted that video. We got a connection to that. So if you're looking for work, getting you work ain't nothing. That's easy. What's hard is what are you gonna do for the next 10 years, next 20
No,
years?
facts.
That's the
Hmm.
hard part.
No, facts.
All right, done. What you got for me?
Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Yeah, so I missed I kind of missed the original question because my computer was acting up, so it's just gonna be a trial by fire.
All
So
right. So the first here's the question for you. Question is, what is your plan right now? What are you doing right now? And what is going to be your plan for the next 10, I even say 20 years to for your skill sets, right? We see the recession, and let's just skip the recession because our the recession is neither here nor there for me. It is, what is your plan for the next 10 to 20 years for your skill sets? How do you plan on staying in the industry, and what does that look like for you? And do you have a plan? If you don't, let's make one.
okay, so my plan for staying in the industry. Well, I just have to say my plan for getting in the industry because the way I understood things, like no matter what I was studying in school or whatever, or where I was working, I was always looking for the intersection between business and technology.
Mm-hmm.
So, and what I've learned is that as long as I'm constantly looking in that area, I won't really fall short in any area. You know, that's how I got here. So
Mm-hmm.
my current plan right now is I'm studying a bunch of I'm in school right now for business and IT or whatever. Kind of piggybacking off of some stuff that I did while I was in the military, and then
Mm-hmm.
on the side, like I have my hobbies and I make money off of my fitness hobbies, doing some training on the side or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So off of so my current plan right now is I'm starting off with enterprise resource planning,
Okay.
um, and that's in within the next I'll say 6 months to a year. I plan on getting that SAP cert.
Okay.
Um, and I've done the research. The job outlook is looking great. I know how much it's gonna make, but I'm staying in school
Mm-hmm.
because that's a personal goal for me.
Okay.
Now, on top of that, to
Debt
supplement that,
free though, right? Staying in school debt free, right?
oh yeah, I get
Oh,
so I'm not like these other people. I get paid to go. But
right. I
anyways,
get it. I get it.
but anyways, to supplement that on the technology piece, um, you know, piece by piece, I'm messing around with this.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm focused on my main thing first, but piece by piece is that, a little bit of this.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm refining like my Python that I learned a
Skills.
while back.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still touching up on a little bit of C++ every now and then. And
Python
again,
is Python should be safe. C plus plus, it depends on where you go.
mm, I don't put too much time into it. I just touch up on it because I learned it. And
Mhm.
I'm starting to get into Rust a little bit to help me out with some personal projects that I got outside of future employment. So that's my um that's my current plan right now.
Now,
Outside of that, oh, I'm sorry.
now, I hear you, right? I got a lot of goals. So the question is, how much time do you have with those goals in order to get things done?
Yeah,
And and,
okay.
and can you farm out some of that work for someone else?
Um, so I'm handling everything piece by piece. Right now, I'm only focusing on the um the school, the enterprise resource planning, and my personal projects.
Mm-hmm.
So that's right now within the next 4 to 6 months. That's my main focus.
Mm-hmm.
Now everything else, because I'm full time in school and I want to have a life. Um, everything else, I'm just touching it piece by piece until I get to the point where I accomplish this thing over here. I'm gonna move into that and focus more heavily on that to accomplish the next goal.
So
And
what are you studying in school?
information systems and business analytics.
Okay.
So, and I'm trying to go into eventually within the next 3 to 5 years be doing something along the data science realm. But ultimately, and eventually become a actual business consultant. Um,
All right. So
but
I'm hearing a lot. So be honest. So
okay,
what I'm hearing, okay, enterprise resources, information systems. Sounds like you made did what I did. Let me get this degree. So I just got it under my belt. Thank you so much. But your main focus sounds like you want to be sounds more like an entrepreneur. And I could be wrong. You could be telling me I could be hearing this wrong, but it's also like an entrepreneur consultant, but you want to have the ability under your umbrella to say, I understand programming, I understand cloud, I understand Linux, and I understand security and what you need and along that lines. And then as a company, when I say as a company, it may be just you, I can bring in other resources under my company to help these other companies accomplish these goals. Yes or no?
Yes, but what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get these skills, work in the industry for a little bit of time, and then jump out and do that.
Okay. And I'm gonna say yes and no. I'm gonna say you could go that route, or you can start you studying use cases and start going to conferences and networking, and maybe even link up with somebody who already has a business. And when I say that, when and when I say that, I'm talking about maybe medium to a small business. When I say that, I mean places like a Carosoft, or it's not called Ubrick, is something Rubric is another company. And when I say that, meaning look for smaller companies, because now you get a chance to understand the business side and the implementation side at the same time. And so now you get a chance to get in on that level. So don't go whenever you finish, don't go for a big company to look for to work for. Go for a small company that you can work with inside the company and get the things that you think that you're going to need in order to start your business. The smaller companies are the ones that you can sit down with the CEO, the CTO, or they don't have a CTO, or they're just getting started with what a CTO is. Or you can fill a void for them or help them advertise who they are in order to get to the next level, where they have faith in you and you understand, but they also have work for you. That's how most of the government contractors work. Most of the government contractors are small business that won a contract from, when I said, let me take that back. They didn't win the contract. Another company brought them in with a on a contract. They say, hey, do you have these people? They say, no, but we can go get them. They go fill those roles. Those people who are CEOs and CTOs and stuff like that, they don't become CTOs and CEOs. They actually work in the business themselves with a set of skills, whether it's Oracle, whether they know how to program, whether they know how to manage a team, a scrum master, or what have you. That's what they do. And then they come into, as they grow, they come into the business. And then that business then flourishes and they break away, and then they start going after the contracts themselves. And when I say contracts, it doesn't necessarily be government contracting. It could be, you could be working with the city, you could be a consultant, you could be whatever you choose. But that's usually how it works. So my thing to you would be, look at a smaller company, like a tech, find a smaller, medium size, really medium, because they're probably a little bit more established, and look at how you can fit in into that company. What value add could you bring in, or what value you can learn from that company, and then work your way out from there. But don't start with the Amazon or the IBMs or the big conglomerates first. Start small. Look up small, medium companies in your area. Maybe they have a small office or something like that, and then go from there. That would be my best suggestion for you. As far as like as far as you, all the things that you're doing, write a plan now. Mind map that out, because it sounds like a lot, and I don't. And I've done it. I got overwhelmed and I stopped, and then I just fell asleep. Like I don't want to do this no more. I'm tired. I'm going to sleep. Like I don't want to do this no more. I'm going to sleep. It's easy. It's easy to go to sleep. It's hard to study. It's easy to go to sleep. Right. So don't fall into the trap where you feel like you got to do it all right now. But schedule yourself some time. Like you said, you got to have some time, right? So that you can do what you need to do. Does that make sense?
Oh, that makes perfect sense. And I actually hit that point a couple times because
Falling asleep.
falling asleep, I took this thing off and threw it and just left. Like I, but yeah, I hit that point a couple times. So in just talking here,
Mhm.
it helped me understand just a little bit more about how I need to go about, going after these things. So
And,
yeah,
and I want to add to this, not to cut you off. What I want to say is, you, if you're anything like me, you're constantly reevaluating your plan and if this is the right move or not. So that's why sometimes you may have to find some time to talk to somebody and take a step back and look at the industry and how the industry is moving. Because if you're anything like me, if it took you 3 or 4 years to do something, it may not even be relevant anymore. And so that's why I'm saying, like, you're gonna have to schedule some time for yourself to make sure that that's gonna last 10 years. So that way, if you spend the 3 or 4 years doing something and studying something, when you come out, it's still relevant. It's still relevant, right? So that's why I say, we get into these conversations about, oh, I'm getting ready to go over here to school to do X, Y, and Z. Well, is it going to be relevant once you get done, and can it last you and sustain you for the next 10 years? Here's my take, and then I'm gonna move over to Natasha. Here's my take. For you going to college and you finishing out, what valuable skills do you get out of going to that school, right? Once you get that degree, what valuable skills? Yes, you completed school, but what can you take with you on and on and on and on, right? I.e., I always use the scientific method as my go-to, right? I use the scientific method throughout the years of my life, right? You see the problem, you break the problem down, you go down through your 7 steps. They might have added 12 steps now, who knows? But again, I use that as a marker to say, okay, that's valuable to me. Take that with you, right? Write that down. What every class you get, what's valuable information I can take with me out of that class that I can apply to where I'm going, right? And then when you start talking to people at, I know you was talking about SAP or whatnot, set up some interviews with those folks that are already doing it. Like, go on LinkedIn, go on Twitter, and be like, hey, you got, can I get 15 minutes of your time? I want to make sure that I'm going down my right path and I'm understanding the industry correctly. Is this true? Is that what it is? Just talk to them and ask them. And if they say no, ask someone else. If they say no, ask someone else. And then reach out to your network as well too. Don't leave that out. But I just ask them, right? To make sure that you got a clear understanding of what it is, right? That's your research, but you may have talked to someone already. But just make sure that you have a clear understanding of that. Is that fair?
yeah, that's fair.
All right. So I gotta give you you gotta send me in the back chat your Cash App or Zelle or whatnot, and I'll cash up your money. Got you. Cool. What's going on, Stacy? And what's going on, Natasha? Natasha, you up next. I appreciate you, Dunn, for coming up. And Professor Black Ops, I appreciate you too. Right. Don't fall asleep. Right. Don't fall asleep. It's hard. It's hard. I be wanting to sleep all the time. Don't fall asleep. Uh oh. Natasha, you got something on in the background. I be wanting to sleep all the time. Don't fall asleep. Uh oh. Natasha, you got something on in the background. I be wanting to sleep all the time. Don't fall asleep. Dion's got to mute you. I got you right here. We'll get you fit. You go ahead and fix yourself, or Natasha. Let me know when you're ready. In the background now. You go ahead and fix yourself, or you. We still hear you. I'm gonna go to Stacy next, and then Natasha will come back to you. What's going on, Stacy? How you doing? Welcome to the show.
Hey Tam, how are you?
I'm awesome.
So, right now, I am on a front end team with my company.
Mm-hmm.
At first, I was working on Angular as a developer. Now, I'm working on the automation side, and
what are y'all doing on the automation side?
we're using JavaScript and Selenium.
Okay.
And so, I'm not crazy about it. So I'm looking at, what can I do next, or what really honestly is what skills can I get right now, basically to be recession proof, and also what skills are needed right now that they're really looking for people to have those skills. And I'm hearing a lot of DevOps. So I've been talking to a few people, been looking into what skills I need to get to move into that space. And so right now my plan is, well, I signed up for this like short little boot camp thing for the cloud recently. It was just I think it was like an intro to a boot camp. I'm not going to do the boot camp. I did a boot camp already. I don't want to do that. So I'm trying to create my own plan to study to get there and learn those skills. So I know from what I've been from talking to some people, I know it's Linux, and also hearing from you, Linux, Terraform, AWS. Those are any cloud, but I'm starting with AWS because I know my company's using it, and I've already heard my team is already trying to move there. So I said I'll start with AWS first. And so far, oh, go ahead.
But I want to know why you want to move to DevOps. Is it because you heard about it, or is that the skills align with what you're already doing?
I actually heard of DevOps before, like even when I was doing my boot camp and I was trying to learn more about it. And I think from talking to people, I think that it's something that I would really be interested in. The only thing is I don't want my team. I don't think I want to move into ops.
Okay.
Because
I would actually tell you to go look at SRE. Actually,
I was looking at that too because I keep seeing that there's some similarities there.
Yeah, so SRE will probably be more your speed, because you're already coming from a programming background.
Okay.
And so you'll find plenty of things. What's the difference between SRE and DevOps, right? We're usually writing little small patch scripts. We're not writing applications, and that's not true across the board. Some people who do DevOps do write applications in Python or JavaScript or whatever the case may be. But majority of the times, it's really just the automation piece. It's setting up the pipelines. It's getting the applications talking. It's talking to endpoints and so forth. Where you'll find SRE maybe, or even platform engineering, you'll find where they're writing tools, where they're actually pushing out tool sets, or and then too, the other part of that is observability, right? That's really huge under the SRE brand there. So those two would be the two things that I would look at. Okay, so why did Tameika say that? SRE, you can go look up SRE Conf. You can go check them out. There's a entire conference over there. We had Amy Rich she's in our group. She's in our Slack. She actually is, I think she may be the head. She may still be the head over there, chairman over there at SRE Conf. But SRE and platform are going to be your skills for your next 10, 20 years. I mean, you're not going to, when platforms are going to keep getting created, SaaS products are going to keep getting created, right? Those platforms are going to keep getting created. People are going to want to know and understand what's going on with that application at the edge, how those devices talking and communicating with each other, and roll all security up in all up through that, and you'll be fine, right? So those things are not going anywhere. So if I were you, I would be looking at SRE. I would be looking at platform engineering. Those are things I would be looking at. And I would be looking at what skill sets fall under that. I would be looking at, if you go to brighttalk.com, and type in platform engineering, set your up account, and you can look at videos on people in there talking about platform engineering from their companies, especially like one of the things that just came out from InfoWorld was how does Mercedes use DevSecOps and Kubernetes over 900,000 different machines, right? So there's an article out there. I got to cover it later on, but that again, thinking about bigger places and so forth, and how they're using it, and you looking at case studies and actually looking at the people who actually present, go look at their Twitter and go look at what they're talking about and so forth, and so you can get an idea as far as mentality that you need to be in order to analyze a problem, how to look at issues, and then how to solve those problems. Those are things that I do constantly, consistently. I'm always looking at case studies. I even bring case studies up here so we can review them so that you get an idea of like what mindset do I need to be in? What do I need to be looking for? How would I how do I translate that into an interview? And how can I use my skill sets to actually identify that problem, right? So look at things from that perspective, especially when you're talking about platform engineering and when we're talking about SRE. Those are the two areas with your programming background what I would be looking at.
Okay, cool. I'm gonna check those out. It's funny because I was just talking to a recruiter and they were saying they wanted somebody with platform to be. They were looking for a platform engineer, and they saw that I had some experience with Postgres. I think, but they
Mm-hmm.
were like, I didn't have the years of experience they wanted.
Mm-hmm.
So
But then when you start looking at your medium companies where you can get in maybe on a junior side and get trained up, or even, excuse me, in some cases some startups have a large enough staff, or enough, when I say staff, enough senior staff where you can come in and ramp up really quickly from a beginner or mid-level to become a senior, right? So that way you got a buffer there. You can learn really quickly with what the skills that you have right now, not the skills that you're going to get, but I'm talking about the skills that you got right now, and move quickly, because sometimes you can move 6 months and up. It depends on the startup. um Being part of the startup world, I've seen people come in 3 months, they're at a senior level because they had some coaching, they had some guidance. I didn't say there was no nepotism, but I'm just saying that I've seen that, right? And I've also seen it where people come in and it be 6 months and they're a senior. So it depends on the company. Don't discount the skill sets that you have right now. Go look up what they require. Look at, like I always say, look at 20 or 30 different types of jobs, of the same jobs. Find the commonalities of those skills, create a mind map of those skills, create a mind map of the skills that you already have, and then fill in the gaps.
okay, that's good.
That's
Yeah.
that's your action plan before the end of the year.
Okay. I was thinking about that too. Like, how can I get into a company with the skills I have and then move into,
Yeah, you're gonna have to look at
DevOps
a.
or
I
SRE
would
or
I would
something?
look at a medium company. I think you get lost in the sauce in a large company, or
Yeah.
a company that doesn't have senior people that have enough time in order to groom that, right? In
Right.
order to groom you, you need you're gonna need somewhere where you can go, where you can say, okay, I need X, Y, and Z. But before you go there, know what they already need and already start working on that. So when you interview, you could be ahead of the game. Like, I'm studying this, I'm studying that. I
Right.
noticed that this is your tech stack. I know that this is your X, Y, and Z. I'm going to move into such and such and such arena, and I'm going to study these things. So by the time you get to the interview process, you understand what they're doing and how they're doing things, right? Interview people before you interview is my thought process.
Oh yeah, I always do
Yeah,
that. Thank you so much, Tam. It was so
you
helpful.
you're welcome. You're welcome. Natasha, we got our sound together.
Yeah, I had to turn off the live on the, on the. I still had it going on the other channel. Well,
It's
happy
all good.
Saturday, everybody.
Happy Saturday to you too, man.
All
What's
right.
going on with you? What you got for me?
Well, right now I do hardware support in the data center. Well,
Mm-hmm.
where I'm at mostly, I'm like swapping out, system boards, SHN, to the machines for the companies, do
Mm-hmm.
configuration settings, small stuff like that on that
Mm-hmm.
scale. But I want to transition because, like, I see the cloud as being the future.
Mm-hmm.
So I went and got the cloud.
Mm-hmm.
First I deviated because I didn't talk to you first. I talked to somebody else, so they told me cloud first. I went and got my AWS.
How did it work out for you?
Well, I passed, but
I
I'm
know.
looking for a job. But
Okay.
but
Okay.
and I did what you said. I'm trying to do internally. So I've applied. I've gotten
Mm,
a little feedback. It's possible, maybe, but I got another. Supposedly, I have a interview Monday. Matter of
okay.
fact, shortly after our class,
Mm-hmm.
with another, but it's they for cloud role. Um,
Okay.
as you know, so I got that. I'm working on my Linux, and you guys were, I was blessed to go out to HashiCom, So and
Mm-hmm.
I'm also.
Why we got you here? How
Mhm.
was it for the people that didn't go like myself? But I
You see,
I know what it.
let's say I was looking for you, and I was and Tam, and I was defending you because everybody was like, "She ain't coming." I said, "Tam told me she coming. She coming." No Tam.
No tell, no tell. But how was Hashi
Oh, it was
for
outstanding.
your first experience
Yes,
at a conference like that?
yes,
Like
I loved it. I
how
loved
was
it.
that?
And like with me and Evelyn, we got with the other guy. I forgot his name. I have it down because we connected on LinkedIn. But he worked with us one on one. Helping us get our computer, everything set up so we can, practice this,
The lab,
Terraform, yeah,
yeah,
and everything. But so I like it was awesome. It was a great experience.
right. It's totally different than than meeting up on our meetups every
Yeah,
week.
yeah, and,
It's
and
good
even
looking for
I'm
culture.
trying to do virtual, conferences, and it makes a big difference when you go.
It's totally different.
It's totally
Totally different.
different. It's totally different.
Where you get in the room and you can see the people hiring on the spot, where you
Yes,
see
yes.
people are hiring and writing jobs on the board, where
Mm-hmm.
people are like, oh, what you do? Okay, come over here. I want you to talk to such and such because he hiring for this role at X, Y, and Z. And
Mm-hmm.
they getting you jobs right then and right there. Not this, I'm an interview. No, you did he hiring.
Yes.
He's the hiring manager. He interviewing you right there
Mm-hmm.
on the spot where
Mm-hmm.
you get to have that conversation,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
We deep in these streets though.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, yeah. Y'all got respect in these streets when you say women in Linux, and I mentioned drop some names. But
We
like
deep
I
in
said,
the
I'm
streets.
trying to stick with you guys. 'Cause a couple of people at the conference, they were trying to talk me into maybe doing sales, but I want to, be recession proof.
Right.
I don't want to depend on sales. So I was like, let me get some of this Linux and get this
Yeah.
automation,
Yeah.
Terraform, Ansible, something like that, so I
Yeah.
can.
And I think you're on the right path. Like I say, you're gonna have to get get your understand, how Linux plays a part when you're
Mhm.
building out in the cloud. Kubernetes is gonna be your
Yeah.
thing. GitOps is gonna be your thing.
Mhm.
Even just as a baseline, you got the hardware and stuff, but you got an advantage over people who don't have that hardware background. And
Mhm.
that advantage is you could literally start looking at edge computing and not necessarily mainframe, but distributed computing,
Okay.
though, and high performance computing because you have that background from hardware. So
Mhm.
I would be looking at those arenas. There's high performance computing in AWS,
Mhm.
GCP, and Azure. There's edge computing in all three clouds as well too, and then automating those things using Terraform, K3s, Kubernetes, and Rancher are going to be your best bet. Those are going to be your sweet spots. That's going to take you for a while. When we talk about satellites, yeah. When we're
Yeah.
talking about PIC controllers and ARM controllers and robotics and low code and no code and so forth, that's where you're going to be at. Like I say, look at, and I've talked about this before. Go on YouTube and look up Kubernetes and Chick Fil A,
Oh.
and all the Chick Fil A companies have a Kubernetes cluster at their cash registers.
Mhm.
They run on a NUC. They might have changed the platform since then, but they run on a NUC. And anytime they need an update, they'll push out an update of this, across multiple stores. But they use GitOps. They use GitOps with WeaveWorks. It was a very big talk. I think it was like 800 people in that talk. Like it was huge, right? So just look at stuff like that when you're trying to figure out where things are going. How are companies like a McDonald's using Kubernetes and so forth? How is Walmart using it? How's Salesforce using it? How are these different things that are using it? Like, how are they doing these things? How and you even had to even take it one step further. How does Tesla get the updates out to these different cars? How are we getting updates out to cars, right, remotely? There's no need for us to go to a shop to get an update, right? They could just push an update out remotely, reboot your system, reboot the car, and we're done. Now you may need to do something if something happens after that, but I don't need to go to the shop to get a software update to my car,
Exactly.
right? You know,
Mm-hmm.
so
Mm-hmm.
you think about how the geolocation, and I think Tim mentioned this earlier, geospatial location and tracking of where these cars are at to get that out to you, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So that would be my best advice for you, for that. Um, Knowing where to go, those are things that go. So with that being said, what conferences should you be going to? So, Stacy, for you, I will be looking at anything around observability, API, um, even at the major conferences like reInvent. Look at those sub conferences that they may have, where they are focused on observability and SRE and platform. For you, Natasha, I will be looking at the CNCF, number one.
All right.
I'll also be looking at Hashi and platform as well too, Stacy. But also looking at edge computing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Again, I go to Bright Talk and look those up.
Okay.
Also high performance computing. There's an actual high performance computing conference. I think it's from SRE. It's not SRE. It's Usenix. Usenix has a high performance computing uh, actual conference as well too. Platform is over on Usenix as well too. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
Cyber is there too. And I would look at those. And if you want to meet those people that are heading those, let us know. We can probably set up a meeting on a Wednesday and have them come to the meetup so y'all can talk to them in a little bit more intimate setting,
Mm-hmm.
for conversations to find out like what are they seeing, right? Understanding where we're going, right? These initiatives that come out from the federal government trickle down to smaller companies, which trickle
Mm-hmm.
down to you to get employed, right? So when you see $1 billion being spent by some particular company to upgrade their cloud, or they want to migrate to the cloud, somebody got to do the work. Somebody got to. It's not nobody just sitting there just going to do the work. And even if Amazon gets the actual work, they still going to hire people to do the work, right?
Mm-hmm.
Those are just little things that you have to be mindful of. So those posts that come up in our Slack are not for just luxury. They're there for a reason.
All
For
right.
the spark you to think like, okay, well, who wins that contract and who's going to do the hiring for that contract, and what skills do I need to be on that contract?
Exactly.
Like I said, the lady called me 2 weeks ago for GCP for Google Cloud. The federal government is building a Google Cloud, using Google Cloud, and they're starting in a greenfield environment. So they're looking for people to come in. They're averaging anywhere from 150 to 300 total comp, for people to come in and help build out Google Cloud for the federal government. So everybody's like, "Oh, I'm running over here to AWS," and the government is like, "We use everybody."
Okay.
We
Yeah.
use everybody, right? The VA uses Azure, somebody else uses GCP, and somebody else uses AWS, and then somebody else uses Oracle.
Mm-hmm.
They use everybody.
Now, do I need to get GCP?
I think GCP pays more than AWS. That's my own personal thought.
Okay.
That's
Okay.
the numbers I've been seeing, right?
Okay.
That's just my thought.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're a little bit more unique, in some cases. So that's Tamika's thoughts.
Okay. I know here RTP seem like I see more roles for AWS. That's why I kind of picked
Because you're
AWS.
probably looking at banking, financing in that area, but
Mm-hmm.
when you step out of banking and financing and you start going with AI and
Mm-hmm.
machine learning, you'll probably see more GCP,
Okay.
right? That's what I've seen. That's just what I've seen.
Okay.
Blockchain, confidential computing. Those.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I've seen out of that.
Okay.
And y'all got to give me your well, hold on. Let me ask this: do y'all now have a solid plan? You do know how to mind map this stuff out, right?
Oh yeah. Well, like I said, well, Monday we start, 9 to 2. I'm be
Okay.
virtual doing my Kubernetes, and then I was watching some Kubernetes stuff last night. YouTube University, uh,
Right.
you know, getting some more hands on, and also I'm trying to do some projects too. Like I
Man,
see,
you've been getting all the free stuff, ain't you?
I'm trying. YouTube is free, man. I'm like, man, I wish I had this when I was like, in high school back in the days. But anyway, better late than never. But I'm trying to do, they got some projects I can do with AWS and Terraform. So I want to try to put that on my resume as well.
Correct. So Monday, the class that she's talking about is with Orbital. For those that didn't come to the meetup, you missed out. I had 3 free tickets to give away
Mm-hmm.
to attend this workshop. In this workshop, D, if you want to bring up the screen, give me 1 second, real quick. Here we go. I'm ready. Super Orbital workshop right here. Let me see right here. In this workshop, we're gonna be learning Kubernetes, Docker. Let me see, core Kubernetes. Let me get the workshop right. Do right here. In this workshop, you're gonna go over Kubernetes. We're gonna go over architecture overview, config maps and secrets, ingress pods, managing resources, health checks, multi-container pods, services, deployments. What is a deployment? Volumes, stateful sets, label and annotations, intro to Helm, intro to customize, beyond deployments and namespaces, right? And as I said before, if you want to learn the basics of Kubernetes, you can go to edx.org and take this class for free. Type in Kubernetes here, and it's the introduction to Kubernetes. Is from the Linux Foundation. It's self-paced. It's 2 or 3 hours. You could probably knock it out in 2 or 3 days, if you really had to, in order to do that, right? And so this introduction to Kubernetes is a great intro to what you're gonna go over here, because it's going to talk about services. They're going to talk about health checks and ingress and pods and deployments and volumes and um, intro to Helm and labels and annotations and namespaces. You're going to get all of that, right? So, and jobs. So you're going to get all of that. And this class was $14.50 per person. You all got it for free, right? You got it for free. So working through, people reach out to me all the time to give away stuff. I bring it to you. I post it in Slack. That's the value add that we try to bring to the community, and the value add that we try to bring to you yourself for your own community, right? So you can take that back and spread the word and show other people, right? That's our value add. In the end, I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna end the show on this. Um, Recession proof your skills. Make sure that you all are teaching others as well too, because that's the best way that's really the best way to know if you know anything, right? That is really the best way. Even if you have to come to a meetup on Wednesday and say, I want to give a presentation on, hey, what I learned this week or what I learned from going to this boot camp. It doesn't have to be, you don't have to do a Tameika presentation of 2, 3, 4, 5 hours. You can do a hot 15 minutes, right? But it's getting you in the rhythm of being able to speak to people in rooms and having people to speak your names when you're not in rooms, right? I didn't go to the conference, Natasha, but my name was in the room, right? I was at home.
Definitely, yes, yes.
You know what I'm saying? But again, it's having that ability. And I want you all to have that pleasure to be able to do those things. Like I say, you got to treat yourself as a business, not a W-2 employee. All right. So when you treat yourself as a business, you'll get it, right? So until then, y'all, make sure you all keep up with your stuff. Make sure you keep up with your skill sets. Make sure you keep up with what's going on around you. There's no need to um, be sitting on the sidelines like, man, all these companies laying off and where am I going to get a chance to get a job at? That's the wrong thought process right there. That's the wrong thought process. Let me tell you, I bet you was plenty of people that was sitting at those jobs at Twitter and Facebook
Thought they were safe.
thought they were safe, right? There were plenty of people that sat there at those jobs and said, I'm working on being the best strategist that I can be. And now the question is, where are you gonna go? Right?
And I'm gonna do a flip. Like at my job, they constantly. That's why I was like, I just got to build me some skills because I hate it at my job now. People be in fear all the time. They be like every quarter, Tasha, they're gonna be some cuts. Well, we had a contract freeze, and they've been trying to kill me because I'm the only person. I also do hardware support for Apple. So
Mhm.
right now in my area, I'm the only certified Apple technician. Because of
Mhm.
the contract freeze, they had to let the other guy go, and the other people aren't trained yet. And I'm
Mhm.
like, y'all not gonna kill me. I'm got to do something else. But
What?
like I said, every quarter though, everybody else and some of the other, everybody's scrambling, talking about, there's cuts or people gonna lose jobs. I was like, well, I just got to, get me a skill set so I don't have to worry about it.
And that's why I say it doesn't hurt like to go get a subscription to a plural site or a subscription to O'Reilly, so you can go access information anytime you want to. Like you sitting up at night, like, you know what, I'm just gonna do an hour of this and see if I like it, or just to get it under my skill set, right? Just get something under your belt where you're not sitting there and you're trying to figure out when they lay off, I gotta go back to college. I gotta go to this boot camp. No, you the day one, like the before you even start the job, like what you got for me for educational credits, right? And go literally go to the portal if they got a portal or if they got somewhere they giving away free classes. Go sign up. Like yo, I ain't been here 30 days, but they got a class starting in 2 weeks. I'm gonna be there for for that class. Like don't sit back and miss out on the opportunity to build your skill sets up and be recession proof, inflation proof, whatever it is that you want to call it. You want the ability where you're in the game, right? It's nothing like being on the sidelines and you're watching life pass you by. You're watching people make decisions for you because you don't have the money to make decisions for yourself, right? So don't be on the sideline. All right. Well, that's the end of our show. I got your stuff in the back chat. I see you. I'm finna hit y'all up right now. I thank y'all for coming up. I think for the people that have watched the show, leave comments at the bottom. Again, enjoy the journey. Don't beat yourselves up, but we got work to do. We got work to do. All right, y'all. Y'all be safe, and I'll catch y'all on the next show.
Thank y'all. See
You
y'all
are.
later.